Constitution, well, to quote George W. Bush, the Constitution is just a damned piece of paper. Pardon my vulgarity. I mean, the anomalies are all around you throughout American history and have been there for a long time. The thing with Agenda 21, for example, this gentleman and his mining claims, since we all don't have mining claims, it doesn't affect us. You know, it only affects a few, and that's the way the government works. But we'll pick off him here because he's making trouble. We'll pick off them over there. Look what happened in Waco, Texas in 1993. 80 innocent men, women, and children burned alive based on a phony affidavit on a search warrant by a corrupt federal government agency that runs around with guns. But, oh, there were some religious nuts. We don't worry about them. See? You get marginalized. Yes, sir?
If we're sitting here thinking that this is just something that's going to happen in the future, we're kidding ourselves. I'll give you an example. I don't know if any of you guys like to perch fish off the beach. But one of my favorite spots to fish off the beach is up towards the Oregon border. We found out, even though I got my license and read the fishing game book and stuff, well, a month later there was a new book that went along with it. Now we're not allowed to perch fish off the beach from the Smith River Casino to the Oregon border.
Why?
Well, that was my question. So
MLPA.
Number one thing, it was a guy came down and was going to give my friend a ticket because he was fishing there. And he said, you can't fish from the mouth of Smith River to the Oregon border. He didn't even know where his boundary was. And this is the guy who worked for Fish and Game. So I called Fish and Game in Eureka, and I asked him why. What is this all about? And there's a new agency, part of the Department of Fish and Game, has come up with this idea that 5 locations in the state of California were going to be off limits to all fishing. And they just happened to pick that one there for one. Now, when they was making this housing development right on the beach there, they made that contractor build a huge, nice paved parking lot and a cement walkway down to for beach access for people to park there and go and fish. 3 years ago. The lady said, I can't really tell you why. She said that maybe you should talk to somebody. I said, well, I'm talking to you. You're the head of the fishing game down in Eureka. She said, well, I don't really have an answer for you. But maybe you need to write a letter. She said, but this will all be reviewed again in 5 years. I said, lady, I'm 70 years old. I'll probably be dead in 5 years.
So no one can give you an answer why you can't fish between the mountains.
No, except that
You know,
somebody
like
in the state of California legislature passed, or fishing game passed these rules for these areas.
it wasn't because the fish are endangered or the fish are poisoned or anything like that.
No.
It's the, that's the zone for the MLPA, the Marine Life Protection Act.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but we sit on our dead asses and let them take our rights away from us a little bit at a time, and we do nothing about it.
Sure.
And this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and we've talked about a little bit of this before, and with the Agenda 21 that's been implemented here in Delaware County, we have several actions that have been taken against us. One, of course, is they're attempting to initiate the National Forest Service Travel Management Plan, which they've had several public meetings where we have a methodology of stopping this travel management plan from being implemented in Delaware County. But the idea is, and And this is not just unique to Delaware County. Any place where you got BLM land or Forest Service land, this is what they're doing, where they have their travel management plan or their land management plan. Well, the travel management plan basically would have shut down a good number of our roads that have been historic within our community and access to a lot of our back areas out here. Well, that's a direct impact to the public safety of our community and also to the economic health of our community, because roads are an economic driver, okay? Where roads exist, economy exists, economics is possible. Where roads do not exist, economy does not exist, and economics are not possible. Very difficult to have happen. So there are several techniques that the Board of Supervisors has in their arsenal to stop it. One is, there's a piece of legislation that was passed many years ago called RS 2477, and you can get any road that's existed since 1978 for longer than 10 years that has been in historical use by your communities cannot be touched or closed or done away with, okay? So we have designated and identified all these RS 2477s within our community. So we can get those immediately drawn back into existence. In other words, they can't be eliminated as the U.S. Forest Service wanted to do. The other thing is they have no jurisdiction, okay? Federal jurisdiction only exists in the national forest as proprietary jurisdiction. They have no legal jurisdiction. In other words, they don't own the land. Their control that they have in the Forest Service is over two things. One, the management of the timber. The second is watershed protection. Okay? Now that's where we are being attacked right now. That's where the dam removal along the Klamath River is being initiated as a part of this Agenda 21. But it's also how they're attacking our communities up and down the coast, from down here in California all the way up to Washington. Is what they're doing is they're saying to protect the salmon, and that's the new soup du jour right now. That is the spotted owlet. That what they have to do is they have to shut down all human activity along these rivers to protect, and their authority is the watershed. Now, if you travel up and down the coast, you see all those beautiful signs popped up over the last 10 years. You're entering this watershed. You're entering this watershed, the Klamath watershed, the Smith River watershed, the Chetco watershed. You see all those nice signs? So this has all been put into place so that they can basically try to control the water. The federal government recently, through regulation over the last 10 years, but recently over the last 4 years, has now claimed dominion over all U.S. waters. Now, it used to be only navigatable waterways were under the control of the federal government. That was it. Navigatable waterways. Now, under their regulation, they have, quote unquote, control over all U.S. waters. Waters of the Americas, as it's called. So if they can control your water, which is what they're trying to do on our farms and on our ranches, they're trying to say that now our ranchers here in Delaware County, all the way in Siskiyou County, Modoc, all the ranchers up there, that if you graze, if you water your grazing lands, if you water your cattle, if you water your farm, that you have to file taking permits for the water now. If you don't, then they threaten you with high fines. They have no authority there. This is your water, your private property. The U.S. Forest, the Fish and Wildlife has no authority over your water. But once you agree to file a taking permit, then you have entered into an agreement with them. And in so doing, you have regulated yourself under their control.
What Feinstein